Good morning. I am going to go on my phone really quick to make sure that this is actually working and share it. It has been a very long time since I have gone live and gotten on here. Oh, I wanted to check the sound too. To go on my phone. Okay, that seems to be working. Good. It's been a very long time since I've gone live on my page, since I don't post much anymore. So I'm going to give it a minute. I highly doubt that anybody is going to get on because nobody checks my page anymore. But I have been feeling called to share again, and I have a lot to share, well, at least this morning. So I thought that no better day to come back than my favorite Soul Sunday. If you are new, every Sunday I used to share, it was actually a picture of me, and then I would write some text about it being Soul Sunday and that it's the perfect time to do something for your soul. Whatever sets your soul on fire, do it. I'm a firm believer that there's one truth, but paths are many. So we all are on different paths to find our one truth. And so if you go to church on Sunday, maybe that sets your soul on fire. For some people, it's spending time with family and having maybe like a family lunch or a family dinner. Different paths. I want to honor that. But also maybe you can incorporate this Soul Sunday to be part of what sets your soul on fire. First, I want us to recognize that we all woke up today. So already we are starting our day blessed, right? It's very hard to recognize that sometimes. And I will share a very embarrassing story, but ever since my daughter was born, I have like this newfound fear of dying, which I was never afraid of before. And I'm only feeling that way because of what she will feel should I not be here anymore. And it's really cool. I have my incense burning and I can see it blowing in front of the camera. In any case, so if I have any inkling of something weird feeling before I go to bed in this fearful state that I won't wake up. It's ridiculous. It's very hypochondriac, but I'm pretty sure there are so many people that can relate to that. And so I've really started kind of recognizing when I wake up how blessed I am to have another day. And so while I maybe have started this thing out of fear, it's really helped me to recognize my daily blessing that I get by waking up every day. So, I don't know, maybe that's the world's weird way, the universe's weird way of saying, you need not fear, we've got you, right? Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. I have this little thing at the bottom of my screen. Okay, it's gone. It was some kind of notification thing that was driving me crazy. Anyways, let's begin by grounding and taking a breath. If prayer is your thing, this would be time for a prayer to get you ready for the few minutes that we're going to be talking. I believe 100% in the power of the collective oneness, whether it's you putting out good energy, good vibes, thoughts, feelings, prayers, meditating, even when we can all sit and take a deep breath together. I believe that collective oneness puts goodness out into the world. So let's all take a moment. Most of us are sitting in our seats. If you're not, if you're laying down, that's cool too. But I want you to, whatever your body is touching, whether it's a bed or a chair. If you're in a chair, I'd like for your feet to be on the ground. If just for the few moments that we're doing this, close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths in through your nose, in through your mouth, whatever it is that feels comfortable for you right now. Just start becoming aware of your breath. And when it feels comfortable, start closing the mouth and making sure that your inhales are coming in through your nose. Those are cleansing for your body. And not changing your breath, just making sure that you're breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Noticing that your feet are touching the ground, and maybe your legs and your backside are touching the seat that you're sitting in or the bed that you're laying in. If you're seated upright, begin to lengthen your posture. So lengthen the spine. Imagine that you have an imaginary string at the crown of your head that's lifting the top of your head. So your chin stays neutral, we're not lifting it, and you're lifting the top of your head, and you're giving some space in your spine. Giving some space in between the rib cage, giving the lungs some space. Relax the shoulders down and back and out of the ears so we're not scrunching our shoulders up. Bringing your awareness to your jaw and your cheeks, your forehead, and relaxing the jaw, relaxing the cheeks, relaxing the forehead and the eyebrows. Still noticing our breath. From here, if it feels comfortable and safe, start thinking about lengthening the inhales and lengthening the exhales. Again, bringing your awareness back to the fact that your feet are grounded, or that your backside is grounded into the bed that you're laying in or the seat that you're sitting in. Taking this time to bring to mind everything that's happening in the Ukraine and putting out a prayer or positive thoughts, healing breaths, whatever feels right in your body and in your practice, to all of those who are suffering, and send out prayers or energy of strength, love, knowing that we are all humankind, and as much as it can be hard at times, we love our brothers and sisters in this world, and when they hurt, we hurt. Coming back to our breath, take one nice deep inhale in through the nose. This time exhale it out through the mouth. Begin to open your eyes. Thank you all for sharing that moment with me. Today, my talk is about forgiveness. It's something that I'm personally working on. I think it's something that many people are working on, especially given the current climate of the world, not just today with the Ukraine, but wherever you are politically with our country's leadership, both recent, past, and present. We all seem to be in big disagreements, and it causes lots of tension between friends, families, co-workers, whatever you feel about the pandemic and how that was handled and the mass situation. Obviously, we are all at odds, right? And a lot of it is that we are all in a war with ourselves, and we are losing big time. There's a lot of lack of love and forgiveness. And I think that a brief talk on forgiveness is definitely needed, even if it's just a reminder for some of us, or maybe it'll spark an idea, put that little birdie in your ear to do your own soul searching on what forgiveness means to you and how to reach it. I am a person who is very interested in all faiths. That's why I believe one truth. Paths are many. I don't really attribute myself personally to one certain type. I feel like I kind of pick and choose from all of them. And this is my personal belief, and a lot of people aren't going to agree with me on this, but I believe that there's something to be learned from all of them. And I believe that we had many spiritual teachers given to us, and at the core of them all is the same thing. There's extremeness to all of them, which I don't agree with and I don't attribute my soul to, but there's something to be learned from all of them. And years ago, I was introduced to A Course in Miracles, which is a metaphysical text that came out to be in the 60s. Very interesting story. If you've never heard of it, you should look into it. But I'm going to start there, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what several different faiths, not all of them, we don't have time for that, but some of the things that have stood out for me when I've been working on forgiveness. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what different faiths say about forgiveness and share with you what has spoken to me while I've been working on this. And so A Course in Miracles talks about the meaning of miracles. It's on page 4, number 13, that miracles are both beginnings and endings. And so they offer temporal order. They are always affirmations of rebirth, which seem to go back, but really go forward. They undo the past in the present, and thus they release the future. Sometimes you have to read some of these things, even if you read the Bible or any other spiritual text. They are written in such a way that you have to read them over and over. And so I paraphrased my interpretation of this. So in order to forgive something that happened to us in the past, we have to go back to that thing, which so many of us don't like to relive the past, right? Like, we're living in the present. And if you have more of an Eastern thought system, that is a lot of what it is. We're living in the present. We're not living in the past. We're not focused on the future. We're living in the present. But here, A Course in Miracles is telling us that we have to go back to that thing in the past. You have to work through that. You have to heal and forgive. And once that's happened, that thing in the past has released. It's released you. And now you can be present here, and your future unfolds for you, for a whole new future. And then a very Eastern thought system is cause and effect. So when we are stuck in that past moment, whatever it is that we need to forgive, that's the cause. And the effect is that we live in this fearful or angry state of unforgiveness. And it's not a choice of choosing between that fear or love. It's that thing caused this fear, and now you need to have a cause for the effect to come out to be love. And this is forgiveness. We need to find forgiveness so we can go into that loving state. The Bible says in Proverbs 17:9, love prospers when a fault is forgiven, but dwelling on it separates close friends. So again, this really still makes me think of the Course in Miracles. If we don't go back and visit that moment that affected us in the past and heal that and work on it, that unforgiveness dwells inside of us, and it separates us from whoever that person is, whether it be a friend, family, coworker, whatever. We can't live in that state of unforgiveness. Some thoughts that came to me about the idea of forgiveness is that so many people, and I used to be this way, but my idea of forgiveness is a little bit different now, but some people don't want to forgive because they feel like that's kind of giving the person a pass, and that's, accepting or saying that it's okay what they did. And it's really not. We always hear people say that forgiveness is for you and not for them, and that's true. But I'd like to elaborate on that. So forgiveness is letting go of the desire for revenge, which is super hard for a lot of people. I am not a vengeful or a kind of person that wants to get revenge. I'm peace and love, y'all. But a lot of people are unwilling to forgive because they want to hurt the person that hurt them. Even if you don't say it, like, we know that's there, right? Like, if we're being completely honest with ourselves, we know that's there. And I used to be that way. It's also letting go of ill will. And I think that's the big component. It's not about giving them a pass and saying, all right, whatever, I forgive you. What you did was fine, because it's not fine. You know, even if their intent was not to hurt you, it's still not fine. Like, your feelings are real, your feelings are valid, but you need to learn to let go of that ill will, because all it's doing is eating you up inside. Finding forgiveness, however you do it, which is super hard. I feel like it's one of like the hardest spiritual things that we have to do, is to forgive people who are wronged us, like big wrongs, little wrongs, all kinds of wrongs. It's super hard. But once we forgive, it's that resolution of that grief that we feel from what happened to us. It is a goodwill gesture. We were given free will, right? And so don't we want that will to be goodwill toward men, right? So forgiveness is a goodwill gesture. It doesn't mean that what they did was okay. It doesn't mean that they have a past. It doesn't mean that you're okay with them doing it again. It just shows the goodwill in your heart and the kind of person that you are. Judgment of these people is not our job. Whatever you believe in, I'm pretty sure you don't believe that we sit in judgment of anyone. That's not for us. That's for God, the Spirit, the universe, karma, whatever you believe in. It's not our job. And then I believe, lastly, that like love, forgiveness should be unconditional. There are no conditions on forgiveness, no matter how big or small it is. You have to be able to forgive someone. And I know that it's hard. And I know that a lot of times people go to, well, what if somebody, you know, did something to my child? And we're not going to say what it is, because it can trigger a lot of people, but it is wrong for sure. And revenge is where a lot of us go. And being able to forgive is not something that we feel like we could do if somebody wronged our child. But again, it goes back to their time for judgment will come, and it's not our job. Easier said than done. I've never had anything happen to my child like that, but I'd like to think that I could be like our spiritual teachers, like the Buddha and Jesus and Abraham, and forgive, right? The Buddhist mindset is that if we don't forgive, we hold on to the pain and the suffering, and that continues. And I believe that we can all feel that. Like, unforgiveness for anyone really does sit and dwell in us and separates us from our brothers and our sisters, and, you know, our brothers and sisters in the world, not both literal and figurative. Hinduism believes in karma, and they believe that the karma is the sum of all that we have done, all that we are currently doing, and all that we will be doing. A lot of people really misinterpret karma, and I'm not an expert. I am not Hindu, but I have an obsession with religion. It's my college minor. I've done a lot of research on it, and it is kind of a pet peeve of mine how people are just like, oh, well, that's their karma. And it's like, well, maybe, but it could, what happened to you could also be your karma. Like, it's not necessarily just their fault. That's like a projection thing, right? So if something happens to you and you were wronged, or you feel you were wrong, sometimes you have to put that mirror up and say, is this my karma? Is this why this happened? It's not, that their karma will come to them. This could be your karma of what you've done, what you're currently doing, or what you will be doing. So it's believed that our deeds create a present and future experiences. So forgiving now, while you may not feel the effects now of forgiveness, it could bring, good karma to you in the future, right? The Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, verse 3 says, forgiveness is a characteristic of one born to realize a divine state, which I thought was just, I don't know. That one really spoke to me. I'm going to say it again. Forgiveness is a characteristic of one born to realize a divine state. So you can see we talked about A Course in Miracles. We talked about a little bit about a verse in the Bible. a little bit about Buddhism and a little bit about Hinduism and their thoughts on forgiveness. And they're all pretty much saying the same thing. Like, we have to forgive to move on. We have to go back to that moment. We have to do the healing work to heal from that moment, whatever it is. And it really depends, I think, on the person and their beliefs and what happened, to find your own modality of healing, to find that forgiveness. But it's a spiritual practice, right? It's something that we have to work on within our mind and our body and our spirit in order to move on. And that's what I am currently working on in my life. And so I felt motivated to speak on it for my first Soul Sunday back in probably a couple years. So if you watched this, I'm really grateful that you watched it with me, and I hope maybe it gives you a little nugget of something to think about and something to work on in your own spiritual practice, whatever that may be. And I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your Sunday. Thank you.